This episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth.
We're the Lockwoods, and we're traveling the world to experience up close and in person all the natural wonders and distinct cultures that our kids would otherwise be learning about only through textbooks and TV. We just finished another whirlwind tour of Southeast Asia that took us through the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. And our travel day back to the US started in Hanoi yesterday and took us into Bangkok, where we spent the night before catching our flight from Bangkok to here in Tokyo. The next leg of this journey is from Tokyo to San Francisco, and we're really hoping that we're going to get upgraded to the United Polaris business class. If you're not familiar with Polaris, think the private pods with lie-flat seats. It's a game changer, and on a long flight like this, 9.5 hours, it may make a huge difference. We're going to give you a complete tour of the experience in Polaris, assuming we get an upgrade. But the big thing in our minds is, will we arrive back home much more refreshed than flying economy? Especially for the kids, we're about to find out. Luckily, right across from our gate is a United Club, so we're gonna head in there. Probably won't take the time to get anything to eat or drink in here, but at least use the nicer restrooms, maybe jump on the Wi-Fi.
Hello.
We get access to the United Clubs using our credit card. It's the United Infinite Club Card, one of our favorites. The other one, by the way, is the American Express Platinum Business Card, and this one gets us access to the American Express Centurion lounges around the world. So we always pick one of these based on the airports that we're in. If you want to learn more about these, you can go to our website, followabc.com/credit cards. That's one of the first links I'll give you in this episode. Now, one of the other things that we want to do here is check the upgrade list for our flight, because right now we are booked on their Premium Plus cabin, but we're spots 2 through 5 on the upgrade list for the business class in the Polaris cabin. So we're gonna jump on the Wi-Fi here and try to take a look. Even though I trust the Wi-Fi networks in these clubs more than I do the public Wi-Fi that's out in the main areas of the airports, I still like to use our VPN just to ensure that extra level of security. There's still a lot of Polaris seats left. They haven't assigned them yet, so we definitely look good for getting the upgrade. It's just a matter of time. I think what they're trying to do right now is sell some of these at last-minute prices to people who are willing to pay for them. We're not willing to pay for it. The only reason that we would get this upgrade is because of our United 1K status. So we're gonna have to keep looking. We've got about 20 more minutes until boarding time. Hopefully we get an update here soon.
I just got a text. Let's see. Great news! You've been upgraded! Yes! Let's see how many we got. I have 3 upgrades, and I think Phil's is on a separate itinerary. So yeah, I think all 4 of us got upgraded.
Thank you. See ya. Actually, the one that seems to be missing is Brooklyn. So we're going over to the check-in counter to see what is up, to get our new boarding passes, and hopefully to board. One big difference between boarding for economy and boarding for business class is with business class, you actually want to get on there as quickly as possible so you can start taking advantage of the comfort and all of the amenities and services.
So we all got upgraded?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yay! New boarding passes.
We always get to pre-board on these United flights, and that means before any of the general boarding groups, and that's not because of the seats that we have, it's not because of anything that has to do with our credit cards, it's because we are United 1K Premier members. That's our status within the Mileage Plus program. It goes from silver to gold to platinum to 1K. There is this invitation-only global services, but as far as the main ones go, we're at the very top. That gets us the pre-boarding. And Erin just got picked for random extended security, so we're waiting for a sec.
While I'm getting that enhanced security check, why don't we take a little glimpse into the future? We're finally back home, and I'm getting settled into my luxurious bedding and loungewear from Cozy Earth. Every product is made of premium viscose from sustainable bamboo. The fabrics are temperature regulating, moisture wicking, and they feel like a cloud against my skin. It's no wonder their products have been included in Oprah's favorite things for 5 years in a row. She is almost as good a taste as I do. And their direct supply chain, ethical factories, and reusable packaging make me feel even better. You can get comfy by shopping at CozyEarth.com. Use our code ALWAYS30 to get 30% off your purchase. Or use the link in the description, and that discount code will be automatically applied to your order.
Did you pass?
I just passed, yes, random security check.
Congratulations.
Thank you. At least I didn't get a pat down.
Okay.
Alright, this is where we're parking it for the next 9.5 hours. First order of business. I'm gonna be working on this trip, editing for you, so I've got to get my station all set up. Some of these really great amenities that we get on this flight. A blanket, a Saks Fifth Avenue blanket, much warmer than those other ones that you get in economy. two choices of pillows. So this is a memory foam pillow and a little bit smaller travel size. And this lovely plush down pillow. So comfy, you can use both or choose which one you want. And it's also Saks Fifth Avenue.
Wine or water here while you're videotaping her.
I'll take a sparkling wine.
All right, here we go.
Thank
How about
you. And there is an additional blanket. Also Saks Fifth Avenue, you can tell who sponsored these things. Another sponsor is Away. They supply these fun little things that come in handy for sure on these flights. A pen for filling out those forms before you get to customs. Kleenex tissues. Well, I shouldn't say Kleenex. Tissues. Sleep mask. I have just discovered how wonderful these things are. I never believed in them before, but I do now. They really help you sleep when you're jet lagged, especially. Keep your eyes closed.
100%. I never really could sleep on flights, even in Polaris, until I started doing the sleep mask with the earplugs. When you block out the sound and the light, you can sleep almost the entire flight. Game changer.
Speaking of earplugs, you get some of those too. And these are my favorite. Never, never go to the bathroom without your shoes. That's gross. But you have these nifty socks, keep your toes warm, and you don't have to have uncomfortable shoes on while you're flying. Another essential little tool is toothbrush and toothpaste. Especially if you sleep on the flight, you are gonna have bad morning breath when you wake up. So you gotta brush those chompers. And now for some of the fun stuff we've got, or I'll just open it for you. This is all the skincare. So we have a facial cleansing cloth, lip balm. It's actually pretty good lip balm. I carry this in my purse. Hand cream, because your hands get so dry when you're flying, and face cream, because your face also gets dry. It's good to stay moisturized when you're up high. And that's it for this.
Do you know what you want to have, babe?
And is it Miss Lockwood and Mr. Lockwood?
Yeah.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you. We have a menu, we have to pick everything. So for dinner, or whatever we're calling that,
Oh, yes.
I'm going to do the beef tenderloin.
All right, for breakfast, sir.
And for breakfast, I will do the cheese omelet, please.
All righty, thank you so much.
Thank you. I got to tell you, when everybody gets settled into Polaris, it is like the first day of college where everyone's showing up with their furniture and their belongings. I mean, people are unwrapping their blankets and it's just plastic wrap everywhere. It becomes a complete mess in here until they come through and pick up all the trash. It is nuts. Let's check out some more of the cockpit stuff here. Right in front, we have this big screen that gives us complete access to an enormous library of movies, TV shows, and other entertainment. Right below that, we have this handy little area where you can just store your phone or something else. We don't usually put our phones there because we like to plug them into the outlets over here and keep them charging. Below that, we've got this pull-out table tray. Below that, we have the area where you can store your shoes or flip-flops. And you notice we've got this set of slippers down here. And when you lie flat, that becomes an ottoman for your feet. Over here, we have a little coat hook. Down here, all of our controls for our seat. Back here is our little night light or reading light. And then the little cabinet locker where we keep all of our additional storage. Down here are all of the outlets and the plug for the headphones. And then over on the right would be the remote control for the TV if you don't want to use the touch screen.
I like using the remote control because I have short arms.
In Polaris, in addition to the lap belt, you have this shoulder harness that you have to wear during takeoff and landing.
On airplanes like this, I usually like watching movies on the TV rather than my iPad. Right now, I'm watching Cloudy and the Chance of Meatballs.
They went to take the kids' order and they each chose the beef and they think they only have one beef left, so I had to choose. We gave it to Brooklyn because she's a big beef eater.
The headphones are so much better in business class. You can almost hear all of the dialogue in the movies that you watch. And we've mentioned this before, but Erin and I kind of like to watch the same movie no matter where we are in the plane. So we'll pick a movie that we both want to watch, and then we'll start it at exactly the same time, so it's like we're watching it together.
And I think that we should watch Mumbai Saga because we're going to be there next month. We like to do our research.
Done. Hot hand towel service. We're about to start dinner service, so that's going to be the beef tenderloin or filet mignon. In Polaris, you can get any kind of cocktail or wine that you want to have with it. Tends to be pretty bottomless, although within reason. With all of the misbehavior they have on planes today, there's definitely going to be a limit. I never push it. As a general rule in our experience, there's a very big difference in the level of service between economy class and Polaris class, but it's not totally consistent. Sometimes it can be kind of disappointing even in business class. I like when we run into the same flight attendants on different flights from different trips. There's one flight attendant in business class, his name is Ricky Ricardo. We've run into him probably a half a dozen times. Spectacular flight attendant, good guy. Not that it makes much of a difference on this flight, like it's kind of imperceptible, but I should note that we are on a Boeing 777. Usually we are on 787 Dreamliners, and I do prefer that because it's a more modern aircraft. I like the windows that are bigger and up higher. Not that I have a window seat today, so it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Ah, nuts. They're warm.
One of the flight attendants just came up to us to tell us how polite our kids are. And we get that all the time, every time we fly. And I think it's just because the kids are so exposed to talking to adults and being good conversationalists. And we're really proud that they have pretty good manners. Proud parents.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dinner is served. So here we have a really good looking garden salad with some balsamic vinaigrette, this roll, we have butter for the roll, and then the main entree here, which is these, looks like braised greens, of course the beef tenderloin, and some potatoes. But one of my favorite things about sitting in business class is this. Real silverware with a real cloth napkin. It's so much easier to eat. And these are real porcelain bowls, and of course, the Cabernet Sauvignon to pair with the beef tenderloin. Salt and pepper. Rosemary on there makes it taste like Christmas.
The tenderloin's actually pretty good. I heard that United was going to step up their catering game for 2023. And so far, the 2 flights we've had, the meals have been pretty good so far. So off to a good start.
Perfect. My favorite thing to eat is medium rare steak with a gallon of salt on top of it.
Do you want coffee or tea?
There's a dessert course, and you can choose between ice cream, there's a sundae, there's also a cheese plate. That's what I ordered. And when I ordered that, she said, do you want it with the ports? I'm like, of course. I also got a tea because you can't only have wine. That's really good. That's the best sip of wine I've ever had on an airline. And a good brie. These little guys are crackers, by the way.
As Phil said, we did not pay for these seats, and they can typically cost tens of thousands of dollars, but we didn't pay anything out of pocket. We typically buy the cheapest available economy seats, and because of our status, we're able to automatically book Economy Plus, which is pretty comfortable. But we get on the upgrade list by using Plus points. You accrue Plus points by being Mileage Plus members. There is Silver, Gold, Platinum, and what we are 1K. So once you get to 1K, you get about 320 Plus points, and you can use that to put yourself on an upgrade list for an international flight. Now, if you make that upgrade like we did, then they'll take the points out of your account. But if you don't, then they just put those points back into your account. So if you don't get that upgrade, there's nothing lost. And you can do that for as many Plus points as you have. You can continue to use them throughout the year.
Arguably the best feature of business class is the ability to lie flat so that you can get some real sleep. The seats in Polaris class have adjustments for the lower leg piece, lumbar support, and quick access to the light and to do not disturb. To go into full lie flat recline mode, you just push on this wheel and it slowly moves into place. So let's spend the bulk of this flight getting some really good sleep. Let's see what we're having for breakfast. So we have a cheese omelet with some sausage, potatoes. Is this honey? Yes. Very good honey. Croissant and fruit bowl. Thank you. And the mimosa. That's a good mimosa. It's a surprisingly fluffy little omelet. It's really good. Packed with cheese. Pork sausage. Very juicy pineapple. I'm not even gonna try the potatoes because I'm pretty potatoed out from dinner. Croissant. It's a surprisingly good croissant for an airplane. Not as good as Paris. One of the biggest differences I have found flying between economy and business class is that in economy, things seem to drag on forever, and in business class, time flies. We have less than an hour left on this flight, and it seems like we just started. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on the internet. Now, usually what I end up doing is getting the United Wi-Fi. We just switched our mobile service to T-Mobile, and that does get us free internet on most United flights, but I think it's mostly domestic. I haven't quite figured out exactly how that works yet. Now, when we buy the United Wi-Fi, most of the time that's going to be reimbursed by American Express because we put it on our Platinum card. Again, if you want to see how that works, you can go to followabc.com/creditcards. The one downside to United Wi-Fi is that you can't use a VPN. And I think the primary reason for that is they try to lock you down on what kind of content you can watch. For example, you cannot stream videos. Usually we cannot even access YouTube to check statistics, respond to comments, or anything like that. And if we could use a VPN, it would allow us to do those things, and that's why they blocked the VPN. Looks like it's about $22 for the entire flight across the Pacific to have internet on United. I think it's still worth it considering we end up paying $0 after the reimbursement from American Express.
And almost all United flights offer free messaging, so you can text for free. All done with breakfast, so time to brush my teeth. The only difference between the economy bathrooms and the business class bathrooms is that they provide you with a garment freshener, face mist, and hand-free.
Clearly the lavatories in Polaris are nothing to write home about. Future Erin just peeled herself away from our Cozy Earth bedding and reminded me to tell you about a mobile app that you'll find in the new Stuff We Love section on our website. Timeshifter is an app that will help you minimize jet lag on all of your travels. And for the record, they're not sponsoring this plug in any way, shape, or form. The app was developed by top scientists who work with CEOs, politicians, and NASA astronauts who clearly have a lot of challenges when it comes to dealing with their circadian rhythms. We tried it on our recent trip to India, and it clearly has a very cool algorithm. You just enter your trip and flight information and some basics about your own sleep and caffeine habits, and it puts together an hour-by-hour plan and alerts you to every action you need to take. When to get light and avoid light, when to take caffeine and melatonin or avoid them, and when to sleep or be active. Its guidance is very detailed and in many cases counterintuitive, which is probably why it works so much better than every hack we've tried over the years. We've all been doing it wrong. So check it out at timeshifter.com or just head over to followabc.com/stuffwelove to see our growing collection of products and services that help support our family's lifestyle of adventure and travel. From travel gear, camera gear, health and beauty, to home, clothing, experiences, and more. And just like that, we are in San Francisco. 9.5 hours flew by. I know that I feel a whole lot better being able to get some real sleep on the flight. As for the kids, I would assume so. We'll find out once we catch up with them. This is not their first time in Polaris. That was almost 2 years ago, and they've flown in business class several times since then. Obviously, it's really great for us to be able to get some sleep on flights like this, but I think as any parent of little kids will tell you, it's probably even more valuable to have your kids get sleep on flights like this so that when you arrive at your final destination, they're more refreshed, less fussy, and a whole lot more energetic.
Flight attendants, disarm your doors to arrival, cross-check, step by step.
Getting sleep. I got 4 hours of sleep.
Well, that's pretty good. You feel good?
Yeah.
One more.
I did.
And that's perfect because it's morning now. So now we have the rest of the day.
We'll be using
Are you happy you were in Polaris?
Yes.
all the way.
But I should note that our family has never purchased a business class ticket. We have never purchased a first class ticket. We rely exclusively on the free upgrades that we get through our status with United Airlines.
But this wasn't even our first upgrade for this trip. On the way out, Phil and I had an upgrade. The kids didn't quite make the list. So what do you think about Polaris versus Economy Plus?
Obviously, Polaris.
We all agree it's worth the loyalty program.
We have one more flight ahead of us. It's only a little over 2 hours and then we will be home. We have been traveling for well more than 24 hours and the ability to get some real sleep on that flight so that when we get home, it's just a matter of a few hours until our natural bedtime for Denver is invaluable. We're basically going to be right back on this time zone within the first day. Granted, we'll still have some effects of jet lag, but they're going to be minimized because of being able to get some rest on that flight. It's not an easy thing unless you have a lot of money to throw at the problem to be able to fly like that, but when you can, it is an absolute game changer. Be sure to subscribe because we've got some great adventures coming up, including Hawaii and 2 weeks in India, which will be our first trip there. So come along for the journey. We're the Lockwoods: Erin, Phil, Reagan, Brooklyn, and Cole. We're traveling the world to experience, up close and in person, all the natural wonders and distinct cultures that our kids would otherwise be consuming only through textbooks and TV. We think it's a better way to learn, and we're working hard to fund this little experiment in the hope that our kids will grow up wiser, kinder, and more grateful for the beauty of our diverse planet and its people.